Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture. And coming up today, 5 members of WWE's Retribution stable have been revealed. And on top of that, we're going to run through the latest additions to the Clash of Champions card.
Plus, he may have lost a steel cage match against Seth Rollins last night on Raw, but Dominik Mysterio is set for a huge push.
It's very offensive, but never mind.
Jeff Hardy has signed a new contract with WWE. This is the news.
Right, we're going to kick things off by talking about Retribution, and this report to us comes from Post Wrestling, so you know what that means, Adam Wilborn.
No bollocks, just Pollock.
Good old John Pollock coming through with the report here. Per his write-up, according to WWE's internal roster, and let's be honest, if you watched the show last night, you'd have probably been able to pick these people out because the masks had like bigger eye holes and stuff. You can see
WWE's internal roster, and for anyone who had eyes watching Raw last night.
You don't even need 20/20 vision. I don't have 20/20 vision, and I spotted it myself. But John Pollock has confirmed it here from WWE's internal roster. The people behind the masks in Retribution at the moment are Dominik Dijakovic and Mercedes Martinez in the speaking roles. Dijakovic sounded like Braun last night. It was really weird with the voice alteration stuff. And former Raw commentator Dio Madden, Mia Yim, and Shane Thorne are in the background. They were joined by more people in the night's main event. There was like 6 or 7 more people when they came down and had that mega brawl with the Hurt Business, who are heroes now, apparently, running out for the save, and Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre as well. So there's a fair bit to unpack here because you can clearly see that Mia Yim and Dominik Dijakovic are on TV and they're brawling with Keith Lee like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever after Keith Lee saved Dijakovic from carrying Cross and was teaming with his partner Mia Yim, and they were a televised couple as well to face Gargano and I almost said Ciampa, Candice LeRae, of course. So you know, the storytelling is all kinds of all over the place here, but those appear to be the people that are slotting into the group right now. Adam Wilborn, what do you think?
It's them bloody locusts that have gone into their brain. I don't know if that's what locusts do. They don't, obviously, but yeah. I mean, what a load of bollocks. I realise I say this every time we talk about Retribution. Granted, by the way, for those of you rage commenting in the comment section below, oh, we've known it's them for ages. Yes, a lot of people have said, well, if you know, pitch shift stuff, or if you bring up the sort of lighting, you can see potential like Dio Madden or Dominik Dijakovic or whoever. I think this is more solidified in terms of, right, these are probably definitive members of the group, because for quite a few weeks it was just sort of who's knocking about, who we can dress in all black, who isn't already dressed in all black because of Akira Tozawa and his ninjas. I don't know what's going on with that storyline, but anyway, aside from everything they do on TV, I like this lineup. Like Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, Dio Madden, Dominik Dijakovic. I saw some people speculating that the guy on the left was either The Miz or Dexter Lumis, I think it was. So look, I'm excited to see what they do with this. Is Kevin Owens linked to them as well? He got a win over Aleister Black as a result of the... Not that, that's the anonymous Raw GM thing, isn't it? But you know what happened last night on Raw. But for goodness sake, I mean, like, that whole main event of like, oh, make sure you watch, it's going to be this great match, and we're going to have a definitive winner, definitive loser, and then if that happens, Keith Lee could get a WWE champion. Oh, no, bollocks, they just ruin everything. And it's not our fault, it's Retribution. It's such a crap get-out-of-jail-free card for them, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I've already upset enough people who are willing to dumb themselves down for this crap storytelling on Twitter this morning, so I'll just skip my thoughts on this angle and save it for my written review on the website.
Yes, we'll be talking lots more about this on the Raw Review as a podcast as well, myself and the Daddy Boys. And I haven't even said what they're properly called. We haven't given them their official introduction. Retribution! Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about something else that happened on last night's Monday Night Raw. Really entertaining little steel cage match, I thought, between Dominik Mysterio and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, thankfully, emerging victorious, despite the fact that Murphy is one of the worst sidekicks in the world. Slammed the steel cage door in his head and all that, but he hit Dominik Mysterio with a couple of stomps, pinned him in that match. But do not worry, Dominik Mysterio fans, he is still set for a huge push in WWE, per a new report from PW Insider.
Hello, HR? Yes, I'd like to lodge a complaint. Okay, thank you.
He's set to enjoy a, quote, prolonged, consistent push near the top of the promotion's cards. It should be in the round. They think he's WWE considering one of the top 25% of baby faces. Top 3 or 4, although I can't really think of more than about 4 baby faces on Monday Night Raw. But yeah, I mean, you know, considering SummerSlam was his first professional wrestling match, I thought he was sensational there. He is slipping slightly into the whole WWE speak thing, which is kind of the thing they just sort of beat talking normally out of you in WWE. But I'm a fan of his. I like seeing what he does, and whilst his father recovers from a triceps injury,
that's
I want to say. Good stuff, and I'm happy for him. So, good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, Dominik has exceeded every single expectation. For a guy with 6 matches under his belt, he's ridiculous. He can do all these crazy flippy-dippy lucha moves and stuff as well. He's benefited, I think, from having a guy like Seth, who's a very good feeder and very good at controlling a match. I hate using the term carrying because it's kind of offensive to the person you're talking about. But like guiding, I guess, he's a more experienced guy who can help an inexperienced guy through a match. So looking forward to see what comes from Dominik next. I suspect we will continue seeing the theme of him facing off with guys like Rollins, who have been doing this for years and years. If Cesaro wasn't on SmackDown, I would say that he'd be a perfect opponent. Look what he did to Mansoor, with Mansoor in Saudi Arabia as an example of that. So Clash of Champions is coming up. It's next Sunday somehow. What? That crept up. And we've got an updated card after last night's Raw. There's only one new match. That's Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending the Women's Tag Team Championships against the Riot Squad. The Riot Squad beat Lana and Natalya last night. And on top of that, we have a new stipulation for Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. It's an ambulance match. These join the existing kind of things that were already there. Cool. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the Universal Championship. And of course, the SmackDown Women's title match of Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Card shaping up quite nicely. The ambulance stipulation has been hit and miss in the past, but Braun and Roman had a really, really great one the other year, and Drew and Randy are certainly talented enough to make it work. And besides, their last match ruled. So let's go.
As much as I roll my eyes and I curse WWE, especially when I sit through 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, really kind of looking forward to Clash of Champions, I have to say. Randy Orton is going to look amazing getting Claymored into an ambulance. That is a visual I cannot wait to see. We're probably going to get Zelina Vega versus Asuka, I would assume, for the Raw Women's Championship. Every title has to be defended. Gold Rush bollocks. Don't know why they didn't put the Mickie James match on there, considering Mickie James is a legend. And, you know, aside from that, whatever that finish was, I thought worked a pretty good match with Asuka. But fine, okay. And yeah, and I hope Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax murder the Riot Squad for what they did to my team, who are no more, whose name I can't even bring myself to say. Let's move on. Let's talk about Jeff Hardy. He has signed a contract extension with WWE with a twist. And that twist is, he announced this, by the way, in a recent interview with BT Sport, which was posted to Twitter just yesterday. No word on how long this contract is, but as I said, it has a twist. And that is, he's going to be using his No More Words entrance theme, which I've been listening to on repeat this morning as a result. But don't worry, he's not going to use it until crowds get back. So, couple of years. Can't wait for that one, Andy.
Yeah, fired up for 2025 when we finally get No More Words back. Yeah, it's an entrance theme that a lot of people have really been clamoring for to return pretty much since Jeff came back onto television. And it's clearly going to be a popular move. We've seen recent things like with Drew McIntyre, there was quite a clamor to get Broken Dreams back. It's his entrance theme for a while. Shigabay, to your favourite gay. But, you know, I quite like the bagpipe and drums and stuff for Drew. So there is a genuine clamour for No More Words, and it sounds like it's going to happen. But as you say, I mean, Jeff Hardy will be about 50 by the time crowds come back, so who knows?
And for some reason, whenever I say No More Words, my brain plays More Than Words, which is definitely more than words. Not an entrance theme, Adam. Shut your face. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Rahul V. Krishnan, who says, do you think WWE will make the SmackDown hacker a member of the Retribution? or are they going to completely ignore the fact that such a gimmick existed?
Yeah, I think they've just canned that. I think they've just goldfish booked the SmackDown hacker out of existence. I don't think that is even a consideration anymore, sadly. I think that ceased being a consideration when Mustafa Ali moved over to Raw. However,
and look at what they've done with him. They've done some great stuff with him. I mean, he was on Main Event the other day, wasn't he?
Yeah, I heard it was a really good match as well, but it's Main Event. The thing is, it would actually make a lot of sense because it's like, how are Retribution hacking into the screens and the lights and everything? Hacker Man! Perfect, brilliant. It's a nice way to tie that up. However, I do feel like they have goldfished that one out of existence.
I'll add this to my big pile of they should, but they won't. But yeah, it's annoying. I hope they do. I really hope they do.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it explains so much stuff. But... And I like the idea of them like taking over and then someone trying to come and get them and something. Hacker Man just setting off pyro so people can't get there.
Blowing people up. Whoa!
Second question today comes from Angela Dawn, who says, hello friends. Hello Angela. She says, which female superstar do you think would benefit by going to NXT and potentially challenging for the NXT Women's Championship?
So the default answer for this was always Kairi Sane, but Kairi Sane is gone now. So I go to my other default answer, and that's Ember Moon. She's obviously suffering from a very serious injury at the moment, and there's no word when, if maybe ever, she might be able to return at full capacity. However, if she is able to return, and return within a decent time frame, I think she'd be a great candidate, because she was always kind of lost a little bit on the main roster, had a few moments of shine here and there, but never anything consistent, whereas in NXT she was just tremendous. She had these great matches across the board, especially with Asuka, and I think she could deliver magic with almost any woman on that roster. She's a very talented individual, and going back to NXT would be a great way for her to just kind of blow the cobwebs off for like 6 months or whatever, and just have cool matches and get back into the swing of things, and then maybe go back to Raw and SmackDown and do cool things there. Or just stay in NXT and be awesome. Whatever she wants to do. I'm not her dad.
Ember Moon. I think they really missed a trick with her on the main roster. I think she's so talented. Obviously, she's been really unlucky with injuries as well. But like the Eclipse is such an eye-catching move. It almost puts itself immediately in like the opening credits of a show for me. And I think, as a way to reheat her, dropping her down to NXT once she recovers. Hopefully she gets better soon. Obviously, our thoughts go out to her. I think that's a great shout. I can't think of many better. The only thing I would suggest is Peyton Bloody Royce, if you want to, establish her as like, okay, she's singles now, because it was like, okay, she's on Raw, she's singles, she's beating her best friend for a stupid bloody match last week, then they just didn't use her this week. Have her go down and be like, look, I'm better than NXT, and just do that whole gimmick. It could be interesting, could be not. I mean, there's a whole list of people, but I don't really want anyone to take that title away from Io Shirai unless it's like Rhea Ripley in about another half a year. So, yeah, I kind of don't want to mess up that title scene down there, but I think Ember Moon's a great shout, to be perfectly honest, Andy. Final question today comes from Mark Solid, who says, morning guys, thoughts on how WWE should book Jimmy's return? I say side with Roman to get Jimmy versus Jay and see how they do as single stars, then eventually lead to a Samoan triple threat match with Scotty 2 Hotty as the special guest ref and Rikishi as the enforcer. And Mark has even included a gif of just printing money, which I completely agree with this question. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, I'd quite like WWE just decide Scotty 2 Hotty is a Samoan man and throw him in this mix as well. Why not? Why not? Yeah, I mean, I'd be on board with that. I think Jimmy versus Jay could be a really fun thing in a singles match, and then throwing them together in a triple threat could be great as well. The one thing that gives me pause on this is that the Usos, I think the Usos are one of the best WWE tag teams ever in terms of like match quality and output and stuff. I think they're fantastic together, and I'm not saying they couldn't be great separately, but together they're just so damn good that I would be inclined more to see where this Jay match goes and then bring them together as a trio. Always like these guys as a trio, but we've not done it as heels before. Roman's doing great as a heel with Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece. The Usos have been great heels in the past when they were cutting like promos in like a battle rap cadence almost on SmackDown, and they had the feud with the New Day. It was awesome stuff. I'd love to see that, but I like your idea as well.
Yeah, I really like that as well. And in terms of like, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, and I don't know when Jimmy is going to return to the ring, but imagine Street Profits versus the Usos. At Survivor Series. Maybe maybe with Breezango chucked in there just for a bit of banter. I don't know how it's going to work in Survivor Series. Who bloody knows? All we know is it's brand warfare for no apparent reason for 1 month.
T-shirts.
Right, let's move on to, and finally, I may be out of the loop on this. You may have caught this yesterday, Andy, but you see on Twitter, shout out to the Black Announce Table podcast, who tweeted, finding out Luther Vandross was a wrestling fan was definitely not on my bingo card for 2020, with this brief clip of Luther Vandross, the musical legend that was, massive fan of wrestling, massive fan of WWE, friends of his talking about his love of SmackDown. Did you know this, Andy?
I had absolutely no idea, but good for Big Luther, man. That's awesome. I love hearing that like major worldwide renowned celebrities are into this weird little hobby. It's always cool to learn.
Yeah, let us know in the comments or on Twitter. Loads of random people you just did not realise were wrestling fans up until recently. We'll maybe give some of them a shout out tomorrow as well. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Plus, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Deadly Boys are reviewing Monday Night Raw. That's going to be fun. A little bit later on today. Plus, let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions and random celebrities you didn't realise like wrestling on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. And watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Happy Birthday Teddy Long, who's presumably not booked himself to go one-on-one with The Undertaker on his big day. Maybe he's booked a 6-man tag, though.
Yeah, maybe he's tagging his birthday with someone. Not one of the best things was when I was asking him for an interview and just got an automated response that was like, holla holla player, I'll get back to you soon. I was like, you're my best friend now.
Love Teddy Long.
Follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWE, as I said. But for now, this has been the news. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.